What's up, everyone? In this video we're going to talk about my settings in Apex for Season 6. I'm mostly going to talk about my controller settings as I play controller on PC, and I'm going to talk about my video and audio settings. The gameplay settings are really personal to your liking. They don't really affect gameplay that much, but I'll talk about them briefly. So one to cover is the damage numbers. I have that on stacking, and like you can see in the description that Respawn gives you when you hover over all of these settings, stacking shows combined number of all recent damage. So if I'm shooting, it just continues to count the number of damage, which is helpful because then you can call out when somebody's cracked or when they're one shot, if you know like how much health they have with their armor. So it's definitely helpful to have that on. You can turn it off, but I don't recommend that. I have my weapon auto cycle on empty just because if the gun's out of ammo, there's really no use in holding it, but some people like it on. It's a preference. I have the minimap rotation off. That means that when I move, the minimap moves. So wherever I move, the minimap will actually turn. Otherwise, it's just going to stay straight, and that's how I like it. I have auto sprint on for controller. That just means I just have to press down on my left thumbstick as opposed to hold it down, which I noticed like got tiring on my thumbs after a while, you know, playing for hours on end. Let's see here. Taking damage closes death box menu. That needs to be on off. Basically, if I'm looting a box and I need to get a shield swap, but I get shot or I get hit with a thermite while I'm doing it, it's gonna like kick me out of the death box, and I don't want that. So that's also preference. But if you're looking to get like a quick shield swap, I would recommend having that turned off. Streamer mode's off. It isn't really a streamer mode. Hopefully in the next season they'll be implementing an actual streamer mode. This just means that instead of seeing people's like gamer tags or names, it's just going to show you the legend. It's just going to say Wraith 1213 or whatever, or killed Pathfinder 6402. I have colorblind mode off. I have subtitles off. Let's get into the controller. Okay, the controller layout is very personal to you and your liking. So just because this is what I use, that doesn't mean that A, it'll work for you, or B, that you'll like it. So take all of this into consideration when you're viewing anybody's settings. The button layout, you'll see I have button puncher, which just basically changes the crouch to my right thumbstick for a toggle, and my melee is the B button. I do not have paddles. I just have a standard Xbox controller. So yeah, so if I'm trying to, crouch while shooting, I have to be able to aim with my right stick and be able to press it down to crouch. And it is on toggle and not hold. The interact reload button, I have tap to use and reload, just because I don't want to have to hold to reload or hold to use anything. Just tapping for both works for me. My trigger dead zone's high. As you can see, it just determines how sensitive the triggers are when pressed. I've played around with this a little. I like high. Once again, it's just personal preference. Menu cursor speed is how quickly I'm gonna go up and down through here, but mostly I have it like that for when I'm in a death box, so I can get a shield swap or I can grab something really quickly, but not too quick where I misclick something. So I found like, a little bit over halfway works well for me. You'll see my sensitivities are 4-4. I've played around with this a lot. I've done 6-4, I've done 5-4, 4-3, 5-3. I've definitely messed around with this a lot, but I'm really comfortable right now with 4-4. It's probably been like this for just about a season now, and I really like it. The per optic is, they're all on 4 with the exception of the 10 times, which is the digital threat sniper scope, which I barely use anyway, so that doesn't really matter. This just means how quickly I'm gonna ADS with any of these sights. So I like it all on 4. My response curve is classic. It's just the classic respawn feel. That's what it says. I like that. Haven't really felt the need to change that up. My look dead zone is small. Let's see. No inverted look and no vibration. I used to play with vibration on, but I turned that off a couple seasons ago, and it took a little bit of getting used to, but I like it a lot better with the vibration off. And for anybody wondering about ALC or advanced look controls, I do not use them. I like how my settings are like this, and so I have not felt the need to implement ALC. Now, if you're looking, this applies to PC, the video settings. If anybody's wondering about like what their the optimal video settings are, I got these from other streamers and content creators because I didn't really know what a lot of them meant when I switched to PC. But well, before I get into that, this field of view applies to everybody, whether you're on console or PC. I have this up to 110. Apex starts you out on 70. 110 just makes your vision zoomed out, so you have a larger field of view. I will show you what 70 looks like, which is like what I said they start you on. It's just it's extreme zoom in vision. So I hate it. Like gives me a headache just looking at it for a minute. So I would recommend anything above 100 or like 100 and up, just because it's going to take some getting used to if you're not used to it, but overall it'll definitely help you in your play. The sprint view shakes on minimal. Alright, so if you're wondering about video settings, basically I turn everything to low or off almost. So all of these things here affect your CPU and your GPU. And if you're wondering like more details about that, just hover over them and look at the little description on the right side of the screen. It'll basically tell you everything. All of it has to do with the graphics in the game and the details that you see. But as you can tell, with all of it turned off, the game looks still pretty good, or really good, and it's not going to exhaust my PC as much. So if you're trying to stream or even record or just play, I recommend all of this to low or pretty close to low. And the texture streaming budget is contingent on how much RAM you have, so that's pretty personal. You should look at how much RAM you have, and mine's on medium. I do have 16 gigs, but I don't have that like all the way to low. As far as audio goes, my master volume varies. It depends on like the day. Sometimes Apex is louder than others, but anyway, the only thing really worth mentioning here is I have the dialogue volume turned down quite a bit because, as you guys know, the audio in this game can be trash at times. So I don't want the legends when they're talking or saying things to basically override the sound of somebody, walking up on me or getting close to me. So I can still hear what the legends are saying, but I have that turned down quite a bit. I also turned down the lobby music and the music volume, which doesn't affect like the in-game necessarily because they're not playing music, but yeah, just so I can hear better. And that's basically it, guys. Like I said in the start of the video, these settings are really personal to each and every one of you. So just because these are my settings, that doesn't mean they're going to work for you. And it doesn't mean that if I picked up somebody else's settings that they would work for me. So try them out. It's going to take getting used to if you switch your settings around and you're used to playing on a certain way for so long. So give yourself some time to adapt to the changes, and let me know if any of them, if you do use any of them and they end up working for you, or if they don't. If you are new here, I would appreciate you consider subscribing to the channel, and thank you guys for watching. Catch me on the next video. Peace.